Welcome, everyone, into Tiger Talk live from Melvin's restaurant. Tiger Talk is sponsored by Cartown, Martinez Chiropractic, Tenori's on Louisville, Go Family Health, Darren Moody, State Farm Insurance, and Melvin's Restaurant. And that's where we are here tonight. Welcome into another edition of Tiger Talk. Stewart Shelby alongside Neville Tiger head football coach Jeff Tannehill. And Jeff, welcome back in. Another Wednesday. And we were talking as we went through. What are we going to talk about here in the first part of Tiger Talk? As last week's game kind of went by the wayside. The COVID bug kind of raised its ugly head, and we weren't able to play last Friday.
Well, that's just something that's going across the state of Louisiana, well, and other states too. But
yeah.
It's happening in college football. It's happening in professional football. There's nothing you can do about it right now. LHSA's put out that you only have to play 4 games, so that's probably part of the reason why some teams aren't really itching to play an extra game because of their playoff spots and that kind of thing. But, I've had really good talks with all these coaches, and everybody's doing everything they could possibly do to stay away from it. I mean, we've gone to, completely separate practices so we can have people healthy and able to play. And Coach Sherrod up at Bastrop, they've done everything they can do to stay as healthy as they possibly can. Most of this stuff happens away from campus. All of the schools are taking care of their business. It's what's away from school that's probably giving us the most trouble.
It's where you really can't control it.
Can't control it.
The schools and the school boards, everybody's doing what they can. The teachers, the principals, the custodial staff. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Everybody's doing as much as they possibly can, and it kind of goes by I don't really know how to go through it, but the contact tracing has been the biggest hurdle for a lot of these people. It's not that a ton of players are getting infected. It's just that if one person gets it and you go through, and it's the way you go back and for the days that you go back and then the days that you have to be off, one person can affect 30 kids.
Or more.
We've
seen
for
that,
a lot.
With West Monroe. Well, actually, we went all the way back to last week when we talked about the Sterlington game. One I think it was one kid or one player infected 26, and then there was another one that was around the other one kind of combination that ended up getting a few more, and plus they ended up with like 100 kids out of school. So and so it gets rampant with the contact tracing. And, but I'll tell you this, we've taken more precautions at Neville High School than anywhere else, and that's a tribute to Dr. Madreen and Coach McCarty. We're sitting no more than 15 kids in a class. We have an overflow room that starts over in the auditorium. And we're lucky that, every time somebody has gotten it, we are already 6 feet apart, and we go through the video and, any kind of contact tracing, it does the same way as Washita Parish has. But, in football, we've had a couple cases where it only contact traced to 3 or 4 of them, and then, it got our freshmen last week at practice. We had one that had it and ended up ruling out about 20 of them, so we had to end up canceling the freshman game. So, you can't get away from it. It's going to happen. The best thing you can try to do is do everything you can possibly do, cleaning their hands, cleaning the dressing rooms, cleaning the showers, all that stuff. And it's still hitting, but, you can only control what you can control.
And, most of there are studies out there that I know that from the NFL and everything else and a lot of other sports across the world, from soccer and everything else, that there's really hasn't been a case that's been transmitted from an on-the-field contact type situation, and that's what you say.
Right.
But
that's the coaching.
But it's when you talk about the coaching, but the transmission, like you said, is from
being around somebody
that
for more than 15 minutes, that kind of thing. And the more you're around it, the more chance you'll have it. I mean, that's why a lot of nurses and doctors get it, because they're around it so much in the hospitals. In our coaching, the LHSCA, the Louisiana Coaches Association, went to the governor to ask, can we get rid of this contact tracing? And the Attorney General in the state of Louisiana said not until January. So I don't know what happens in January, but whatever the case may be, that's when the contact tracing could possibly kind of magically go away. But,
yeah.
as for now, got to follow the guidelines.
That's right.
And that's all we can do about it.
And so, as you know, dealing with that, I mean, it's affected the Tigers and their schedule, not being able to play last week versus Sterlington. In fact, Sterlington had scheduled Wassman for Saturday, and that game is now.
I just heard that right when I walked in the door
canceled.
tonight.
So there's just all over the place. You know, we were. I was with you earlier today, and you were talking about trying to find teams and games, and
the list gets bigger and bigger every day.
And we've talked about this every week. So I mean, it's kind of like, you know, here's your weekly, you know, COVID report as it pertains to the LHSAA that we start off with. But you know, it's kind of maybe let's venture away from that a little bit, because there's a lot of stuff to get to tonight here on Tiger Talk, and like always, like every Wednesday, we're live here at Melvyn's Restaurant. And like for anybody that's out there watching, to come out and join us, having a good time, some great food, and some great people here each and every Wednesday. But so you come off a nice win, beat Minden 41-7 a couple of weeks ago. You practice, you start getting ready for Sterlington, you know, and then that comes, at least Sterlington kind of came early.
Right,
in the
it
week,
came on Monday.
Last week. It wasn't a Friday morning type deal that a lot of teams have faced, where couldn't find a replacement. There wasn't any trying, but it just wasn't able to work anything out.
Right.
And let's talk about, you know, practice during that week. I mean, what do you do? I mean, this is one of those situations that you normally don't face.
Well,
Ever, you know, in your coaching career, I know you haven't. Every week there's something brand new.
Yeah, it's every day, honestly. But, you know, as far as practice last week, the one thing that we wanted to do is continue the success we had against Minden. We wanted to keep working on those little things that makes us a whole lot better offensively. You know, defensively has been really good all year. Offensively, we've been good in spots and here and there. But at Minden, I felt like we really put it together, and we did some really good things offensively. And so we just continue to work extremely hard on that side of the ball, of trying to get to where it's just clockwork, where every kid is on the same page. And, you know, we still got cut short Wednesday. Had a few things come up, so we had to kind of bang practice for Thursday. And so we practiced Tuesday and Wednesday, a little bit Monday, some film work and that kind of stuff. But, you know, I felt like we got a little better. We were real rusty on Monday, a little better on Tuesday, really good today. I thought the intensity of practice today really, we amped it up a little bit, because, I mean, it's Bastrop week. It's not hard to get them fired up a whole bunch. But we had a really good, you know, stretch of there, about 5 or 6 days of getting better at what we're trying to do on offense, and it's come a long way. And as talking to the coaches today on defense, you know, and our staff meeting after practice today, it was a really good day, whereas yesterday was not so good. So, you know, we're getting to where we need to be, and we just got to continue to keep playing and keep practicing, and I think we'll get to that point where we're just clicking on all cylinders.
And you talk about being able to practice, but trying to keep that momentum and keep kids in, you know, a game-type mentality, having this indecision, you know, of are we playing, are we not playing, are we playing, are we not playing, and you know, just from an 16 to 18-year-old kid standpoint, maybe as adults we take it a little bit more for granted. They're like, oh, we're playing football? Okay, we'll play. If not, oh, all right, that's fine too. You know, everybody maybe needed a little break after everything that's gone on here. And I think that maybe that break could do some good things, kind of let yourself take a breath, not only for your players but the coaching staff as well, to kind of have a couple of days off. And not that there's any true days off in the coaching world, but have some time to kind of refresh and get ready for this final push.
Well, you know, and it also gives you a little more time to watch more film to on Bastrop and get a few things down that you didn't have time to do because of the Sterlington game. But you know, as far as resting and that kind of thing, you know, our coaches took a couple days, and you know, they got refreshed, got to spend a little time with the families, and that they don't get to very often on the weekends. And you know, it didn't hurt anything. You know, it's not playing. You know, it was originally on the schedule as an open week anyway. I think we healed up defensively. We had a few bumps and bruises defensively. had a couple kids trying to get back in really game shape offensively. Some, Zeb Ruddle and B.J. Mays are still trying to get in game shape and that kind of thing. So, I think last week helped do that and helped heal up some of our defensive guys. And we really, we've come a long way since we played Ruston week 1 or week 2. And, I'm just really, proud of the way the kids have handled all this. I mean, I feel like I'm pulling my hair out every day, but, try not to show it to them, and they just take one lump after another, and it's like a punching bag. They just move on to the next thing. And so, that's part of being a teenager, and this football is just part of growing up for them. And so as long as we can keep it fun and entertaining and enthusiastic, I think the kids they'll keep moving on forward, like everything's normal.
Yeah, we got Bastrop this Friday night. It's over there at Bastrop. We'll talk about that later on in the show. Also coming up here on Tiger Talk, we'll be visiting with Neville Special Teams Coordinator Jeff Gregory, also a veteran of the Armed Forces here, appropriately here on Veterans Day. We'll talk to him a little bit about his military service, and then as well as what he's doing with the Tigers this season. And he's been a longtime coach there at Neville. He's been on the staff for a very long time. Also, I believe we're talking to senior kicker William Reed, who is really come on and is taking on whatever role you're giving him. And I've watched him progress over the past few years, and that young man's really worked hard, and you can tell in his performance. So looking forward to talking with him as well. And as we go through Tuesday, we had a deal, and we'll maybe talk about this a little bit more at the end of the show, but the LHSA comes out, and they have their deals. Now, it's like you mentioned it earlier in the show, for minimum of 4 games that you have to play. If you look at the power ratings right now, there's a couple of teams. I think there's 10 teams in all of LHSA right now that have played less than 4 games.
Oh, wow.
And I believe only 10 out of all those 10, there's a couple that have shut it down for the rest of the year, but there's also a couple that are playing in, and a couple of those are one of them is actually higher than in the power ratings right now, is 2-1, sitting in the 4A bracket there at 3. And we'll maybe go through some of that. There's a little things to think about as this is we can't say it enough. This is an unprecedented year, and I think Eddie Bonine actually said it pretty well. He said, look, the beginning of the year, didn't even know if we'd be playing football this year.
Right.
We wanted a season. We got some kids playing, doing the best that they can, and we're going to try to have a playoff. So we'll talk about that a little bit here later in the show as well. So stay tuned for all that. But right now it's time for a message from a few of our sponsors here for Tiger Talk. We'll be right back.
Hey Neville Tiger Nation, this season if you find yourself feeling a little under the weather, visit Go Family Health on North 18th Street. They cover flu shots, sports physicals, sick visits, annual visits, or if nothing is wrong, they can do your regular checkup. Go Family Health has a happy staff, clean office, and they can take care of all your family's health care needs.
This is Tiffany Terra with Go Family Health. We love our Neville Tigers, and we want to thank all of Neville Nation for always supporting Go Family Health.
The used car giants are bringing something massive to the Twin Cities. One-click online purchasing. Visit usedcargiants.com. Choose the car you want from CarTown's huge inventory and buy it with one click. CarTown, the used car giants.
Having back trouble? Well, Dr. Scott Martinez at Martinez Chiropractic may be able to help you out. Why don't you give him and his friendly staff a call, 654-4310, to set up your next chiropractic appointment. Martinez Chiropractic is located at 1828 Tower Drive in Monroe. Scott Martinez is a former Neville Tiger and supports all of Neville athletes.
At Origin Bank, we know that customers have many choices when it comes to banking. We also know that customer service isn't just a department, it's an attitude. The Origin vision is to create unique banking experiences that impact the world around us. And that's why we don't just talk about customer service, we live it. It is our promise to you to treat every customer like the only customer every time. Stop by your local Origin Bank today and learn what it means to bank original.
I'm Dr. Scott Shelby with Family Solutions. When you hear the words Family Solutions, you may not know that we're a comprehensive, strength-based counseling and psychiatric clinic. Family Solutions provides psychiatric care, individual and couples therapy, child and adolescent counseling, psychological testing, medication management. We also provide occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, and ABA therapy in one convenient location. For more information on how we can help your family today, visit FamilySolutionsCounseling.org.
Dr. Justin Tarver and his team at Tarver Dental can handle all of your general, restorative, and cosmetic dentistry services. Give them a call today to schedule your next appointment. 318-343-6006.
Stop into Central Station. We have many convenient locations ready for you. Stop in to rest, fill up on gas, and grab a great bite to eat. Central Station locations offer clean restrooms and easy access. Stop into Central Station today.
Sparks Nissan Kia is your home of the largest lineup of Nissan and Kia in Northeast Louisiana. Titan, Rogue, Altima, Optima, Sorrento, and more. Not to mention our huge selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs to fit any budget. Our Finance Center will help get you behind the wheel with a lease or loan solution. Shop the area's largest inventory of Nissan and Kia online or give us a call. Put a spark in your drive. Sparks Nissan Kia, I-20 and 165 in Monroe.
Looking for a place to watch Neville Tiger Athletics in a beautiful setting? Well, look no further. Catahoula's, located on beautiful Bayou Désert in Monroe, is your place. They are the official watch station of all things Neville Tiger Network. Go see Colby and the gang there at Catahoula's and enjoy some fine food and a great atmosphere. That's Catahoula's on Désert Street in Monroe. All right, everybody, welcome back into Tiger Talk here live from Melvyn's Restaurant. Stewart Shelby now joined by Neville coach Jeff Gregory. Jeff, welcome to Tiger Talk.
Thank you, Stewart.
And like we said earlier before we went to break, appropriately so, Jeff is a veteran of the Marine Corps, and we obviously thank you for your service here on Veterans Day.
Well, very much. My pleasure. It was as a lot of my friends say, it was the funnest job I ever had.
Yeah, exactly. And well, thank you for your service. And also, let's talk. You've been on the staff for how long now? I mean, I've talked to you a few times on
Going to
Tiger
age
Talk.
me here. I've been at Neville since 2005.
Yeah.
I came over, spent 2 years at Lee after being in North Carolina for a few years. Came over in 2005, did freshman football, freshman baseball for a few years. And 2009, I moved up to do varsity football and took over the boys track program. So since 2009, I've been on the varsity staff, and we've had a lot of fun with that. A lot of good years. You know, few struggles here and there, but that's to be understood. But you know, those good years, you always, that's what you're always trying to aim to get back to. And you know, you definitely don't dwell on that, but it's nice to be able to be on a staff. You know, Jeff was on a lot of those staffs for the 2 of those championships, and you know, so to be able to look back and see, hey, what did we do, what worked, what didn't work, and really try to focus in on you know, building on those successes from the past.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have a lot of successes and a lot of it's what you do. That's your job as a coach. I mean, you look back and then try to look forward and see what you got, mold that to around the talent that's sitting in front of you
That's
today.
right. Yeah, and you just you year in, year out, you don't know what you're going to have. You know, we see our kids that come up from Neville Junior High, and we watch them as freshmen. Yeah. You know, what are they going to bring when they get to us? You know, they may be better down the road than they are now, or they may not be. You know, so. Yeah, it's always just a matter of taking what you get and rolling with it, and hopefully make a good situation out of it.
Well, you know, expectations are always part of the part of the deal at Neville High School. I mean, and sometimes those expectations can be a little maybe unrealistic. I mean, there for a while, you come through there, and people don't realize that there's not a Rashard Lawrence in every class, for Darian Mathis that shows that in every class, or a DRs or somebody of that type of deal. Even like going back to the Cavante Turpin days, where you have that one type of a game changer on every team that can really make a significant difference. But there's people with a lot of talent all around you, and it's what makes Neville successful is being able to get those guys. Obviously, there's been some guys that have gone on to some success post high school, but
you're always trying to squeeze everything you can out of every kid you have. And but yes, some years you get blessed with with talent that really can move on up. It's so rewarding to see these guys when they get to college, get to the pros. But it's just as rewarding to see these guys that come back who've got a successful business, finishing college degrees in different postgraduate schools, law school, medical school. Teachers. We've got guys that are coming right back and wanting to coach. Courtney Wallace has been out there with us. He things didn't work out the way he wanted to in New England, but he's back helping us every day. He's already volunteered to work track as well. So, when you get these, any mix of kids, you're always, like I said, trying to squeeze what you can out of them. And, we've had a lot of success. We've had some good years that you may not have expected that at first. Say, talent pool's low, but what they put out for us. And again, that goes back to the traditions you were talking about that came even before Mickey was around. It goes back to the Charlie Brown days and Joe Coates and Bill Ruppel days of, this is what we do. And so that, while the kids change, the expectations don't.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. So let's talk about you've been with special teams for a few years now. You're also, I think they added in a little tight end work, but let's start with that special teams, okay? And over the past few years, there's been some interesting deals. I don't know if y'all are still doing the military terms for some of your special teams, or was that
that kind of came and gone. I know for Coach Tannehill, it kind of confused him. Who are we actually calling here? The guys that were on it knew who it was, but that was a kind of neat little tribute we did, for a while. But so like I said, some things come and go.
Well, this year, and we're going to talk with your senior kicker William Reed here after in the next segment. But you talk about these kids, especially with specialists. I mean, special teams. It's just really it's kind of it's about as solitary as you can get on a football field.
Yes, depending on which ones you're talking about. Yeah, especially these specialists.
Well, from your deep snapper to your kicker to your holder or something like that, one little thing goes wrong and everybody's pointing fingers at that guy.
Yeah, and the special teams coordinator too. It is. You don't realize what it's like, and I think over the years things changed for a long time. I know talking with Coach Tannehill, he's a big special teams guy. He played it himself. He was. I know he's not listening to me right now, but I think he was kind of Mr. Everything when he was at Neville. He kind of he did hear that. Yeah. He played defense. He was a backup quarterback, and he kicked, he punted, he probably returned punts. He could have done whatever they needed him to do. But he had a good knack for special teams. He's got a good strong leg. He kicked in college. And so he understands that, but so much of that's changed over the years where, 20, 30 years ago, to have a kicker only was really almost unheard of in most programs because you were dealing with smaller numbers until soccer really became big in Northeast Louisiana. It was whoever had the biggest, strongest toe because who knew how to soccer kick a soccer style kick a football.
Exactly.
And it was a lot more of just a straight on kick. But now it's great that we do have the opportunity to send our kickers off by themselves. They can work on a lot of drills on their own. Will Anders goes and does the same thing with him. He kind of works with him on different drills. So they do have a lot of time on their own.
Yeah.
But fortunately, because they're very focused on that, once they do show up, they're not worried about how to line up to a defense. They're not worried about how to read man coverage.
Yeah.
They're focused in on their one job and usually can get it done very well.
Well, and you've seen that. I've seen some talented guys come through there, and Williams impressed me. I mean, and even some of the younger guys when they get their chance. You've had Briard and Nabnett has kicked a couple extra points for you, and then the Burkhalter kid has booted a few punts.
He's
for
came
you.
back in, yeah.
And
we've got Chandler Pettis
and
in.
then Chandler
I
Pettis
was
as well.
glad. We, sometimes you get these games where you get a little bit of a lead. You want to get players in. Unfortunately, sometimes you have to actually score some more points.
Yes.
And if the scoring slows down, it slows down extra points and kickoffs. But late in the last game, we got all 4 kickers active, and Briard and Nabnett has been a big surprise. Been really pleased with him. His leg strength has just grown dramatically over the last year. And Aries Burkhalter played for us. He didn't play last year, kind of just focused on soccer, baseball. Decided senior year, hey, maybe I want to give this one more go. Yeah. And he's worked on a few technical things and is working his way back into it as our punter. Yeah. And but again, Chandler Pettis we were able to get one punt out of him before the game ended on our last against Menden. Yeah. So that's always a good sign when you can work a lot of kickers in a game.
Exactly.
That means that things are going fairly well for you.
You're right, and when it comes to not only that, but different coverages and trying to kick the ball down the field or up the field. I've seen a few different techniques from Neville this year. There's been times where we're trying to kick that short one to an up back, or trying to kick it deep if you got a good wind or whatever else. Kind of maybe take me through your process on figuring out. Is it just scouting? I mean, you see the return guys that they have.
That's more than a lot of times. That's more than anything. It's just some simple scouting. Hey, who's the fastest one they have?
Don't kick it to him.
Yeah, maybe we need to avoid this guy. You see, Menden. The week before we played Menden, they had returned 2 kicks for touchdowns, and that really that proved to be the difference in their win against North DeSoto. So knowing that they were dangerous, they had a pretty good return setup, and they had 2 guys that can just fly. We definitely wanted to avoid those guys. Other times, there are other teams we're willing to kind of take a little bit more of a risk, see if we can kick it deep. Touchbacks are great. In high school, once that ball's in the end zone, there is no return. Yeah. So if we feel confident, and especially with Williams' leg, he's got a good strong leg. Sometimes, especially last year and kind of maybe a few weeks ago, those kickers will get into a bad routine of over kicking in practice. Yeah. Just they wanted they're in a lot of ways they're overachievers. They want to do great. If they miss if they hit a bad one, let me kick another one. Let me get another one. And before they know it, they're dead legged and just don't have the same power. So, week in and week out, we kind of feel out where our kickers are, and what type of opponents we're playing, what kind of return guys they have, what's their return setups, and sometimes it comes down to our personnel. Yeah. Do we have somebody out? Do we have a newbie in there that's having to fill in for an older, experienced guy that's been hurt, or trying to get somebody different reps? So that does play into it in terms of where we want to kick the ball. Coach Tannehill is he's been a risk taker a few times. We've tried a couple onside kicks, a fake punt. We were successful at least on one of the onside kicks. Yeah. I know we got one against Ruston.
Fake punt was against. Franklin Parish, and I actually caught it based on where I was. I thought it was actually executed pretty well. It just came up about a half yard,
just short. It was real short.
I thought you had it, but I was also in the back of my pickup truck, way down the sideline.
You didn't have much more height advantage than I did.
That's right. I had about the same view. But let's talk about the tight ends too. Let's not forget about some of those guys. And you've got a few guys in there. You've mixed in. You've got a couple of seniors at that position, as well as a couple of good young ones.
Yeah, we do. And we've kind of been. It's kind of revolved a little bit this year. We started out with really, kind of 2 returners. Yeah. Davis Brown, who's a senior, Tristan Osborne, who is a junior, and we got a couple other guys. Ben Crawford, who kind of played a little bit of everything last year. He was playing more of a slot receiver this year, but he did play some. He kind of filled in some tight ends, did some tight end work last year. So that's kind of where we started out. Oh, and Wes Robinson. Yeah. Wes Robinson, who unfortunately been injured and just wasn't able to play really since his freshman year. He came back too, and was really excited to have him. And so as the year's gone on, just in different needs, we've had to shuffle people around. And so with kind of a thin offensive line, we've had a few injuries. We ended up moving Tristan Osborne to kind of fill in as an interior lineman. Yeah. He kind of started learning guard and tackle. Yeah. And then as we got a little bit more injured, that's where Davis Brown has moved inside. He's learning guard. He really probably could play tackle if we needed him to. So we had some empty spots, but at the same time, getting different personnel back. Zeb Ruddle is back from having his arm surgery. He got cleared, and we got Byron Mays, who's come to us. And so with those two additions, we've been able to move some bodies around. Ben Crawford's practicing as a tight end only, and Byron Mays is with us as tight end. So as we lost a few, we also gained a few and shuffled some things around. And it's been helpful to have. We're making some more depth. Yeah. And as much as I love Davis Brown and he plays a good tight end, he was kind of the next best option on the inside, and so. Very, very, very good chance we have to lean on him on the inside where we had a couple extra bodies on the outside. So, we'll see week in and week out where we go, how the injuries go, and who fits where. But it's an interesting position. People who know football and understand it, tight ends do a lot of different things. They're it kind of deep down inside their offensive linemen, but on their they want to wear that receiver patch on their sleeve, catch some balls and get in the end zone. But we practice a lot with the offensive line. Coach Chad Johnson took over the offensive line this year, and so we work a lot together, bounce a lot of ideas off of each other. We work with groups. I'll take a couple of the guys, tackles and tight ends. He'll take some interior guys. So we really get a good feel of meshing those tight end bodies inside. Yeah. And then at times, we're going to go off and work with receivers as well because got to be able to catch a ball, got to block on the perimeter, and contribute wherever we're needed.
Well, the key to that offense, and it has been at Neville for a few years, and I know Coach Tannehill likes to utilize as many weapons as possible, whether it's from the tight end position or the wide receiver or the running back position or wherever it is. You got to want to be as multiple as possible.
We want big magazines and extra bullets.
That's right. That's right.
We need to fire off as many as we can, and that's it's comforting to know that we have the people to do it and the plays to do it as well. So
it's comforting to know that they've got guys like you on the coaching staff trying to keep everybody in line. So and get them on the right page.
Best we can.
Yeah, the best you can. Well, thanks for stopping by here.
I appreciate you letting me come on.
Always good to talk to you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to talk to you too.
And folks, Coach Jeff Gregory, joining us here on Tiger Talk, and we're always glad to see him. When we come back, we'll talk to senior Tiger kicker William Reed, who's done some good things this year. I'm excited to talk to him about what I've seen, his progress over the past couple of years. All that and a lot more right here on Tiger Talk, live from Melvin's Restaurant. We'll be right back.
The used car giants are back, and they're crushing the competition, crushing high prices, and crushing bad credit. And they're bringing something even bigger. One-click online purchasing. Visit usedcargiants.com. Choose the car you want from CarTown's huge inventory and buy it with one click.
Having back trouble? Well, Dr. Scott Martinez at Martinez Chiropractic may be able to help you out. Why don't you give him and his friendly staff a call, 654-4310, to set up your next chiropractic appointment. Martinez Chiropractic is located at 1828 Tower Drive in Monroe. Scott Martinez is a former Neville Tiger and supports all of Neville athletes.
Hey Neville Tiger Nation, this season if you find yourself feeling a little under the weather, visit Go Family Health on North 18th Street. They cover flu shots, sports physicals, sick visits, annual visits, or if nothing is wrong, they can do your regular checkup. Go Family Health has a happy staff, clean office, and they can take care of all your family's health care needs.
This is Tiffany Terra with Go Family Health. We love our Neville Tigers, and we want to thank all of Neville Nation for always supporting Go Family Health.
I'm Christian Creed. Catherine and I have been your local injury attorneys for more than 20 years. At Creed & Creed, we don't use gimmicks. We value our community and the clients we serve. When you see a Creed & Creed ad, you know it's real. Real clients, real results, and no fine print. Don't be misled by out-of-town attorneys using dramatizations or paid testimonials. If you've been involved in an accident, call Creed and Creed today.
Finally, it's fall, and that means football. Don't worry about the meal. Get it from Podna's Barbecue. We'll take care of the food for you with the best mouth-watering barbecue you have ever tasted. So this way, you can enjoy the family get-together. Come by Podna's and pick up the South's best barbecue. And if it's a big order, call ahead, and we'll have it ready. Or use the Waiter app for delivery. Podna's Barbecue on 165 North in Monroe and Splain Drive in West Monroe. Podna's Barbecue, serving the best barbecue since 1977.
Podna's, the South's best barbecue.
Thank you, Neville coaches, staff, and teachers for taking care of our family.
Now let us at Shell Chiropractic take care of you.
At Caples and Robinson Orthodontics, making beautiful smiles is our passion. Our doctors are Northeast Louisiana's trusted board-certified orthodontists, and they love helping our patients create the smile they've always wanted.
Mama DeLuca's pizzas are custom made, fresh to order right in front of you. We offer 3 different sizes of pizzas, 9, 12, or 14. Mama DeLuca's pizza is prepared to your order. The pizza cooks in less than 3 minutes. We have 16 different toppings to choose from and 8 unique sauces to complete your pizza. In addition to pizzas, we offer to our customers boneless wings with your choice of a dipping sauce. Mama DeLuca's Pizza offers delicious garlic Parmesan breadstick, freshly made to order pasta rolls. We're Mama DeLuca's Pizza in the Subway on Lammy Lane, and we hope to see you soon.
All right, everybody, welcome back into Tiger Talk. We're live at Melvyn's Restaurant, as we are every Wednesday night, starting at 6:30. And now we're joined by Neville Senior kicker, William Reed. William, welcome to Tiger Talk, man.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, pretty good. Hey, we're going to do one. There we go. Everybody out there wants to hear you a little bit. But, William, we just talked with Coach Gregory, who's been kind of the special teams coordinator and all that. And I was talking to you over the break. I mean, you came on to Neville as a freshman, kind of a receiver, and then the kicker goes away, and Neville's in need, and your talents at soccer, obviously, you're like, well, I can try and kick, and then let's get out here and give it a try. And I've been watching you kick for the past 3 years, and I'm very impressed with the progress that you've made. And, what do you attribute that kind of success to?
I mean, I think it just goes back to soccer. I've played soccer since I was like 4, and just when I started freshman year, I didn't even know, I knew kind of steps, but I'd never really kicked a football. And so YouTube videos, kind of just learn yourself. We didn't really have a kicking coach, so just got out there and from soccer and just kicked.
Yeah, well, it's kicking a football and kicking a soccer ball is a little different. They're different size and shape, just to start. But getting that ball. It's a true specialty, and that's what we were talking with Coach Gregory earlier. It used to be just the guy that could have the toe it and kick it as far as you can, and let's go down in there and hit somebody. And now, kickers, especially here, and I've seen you kick it into the end zone and then try to kick the kind of the pop-up pooch type kicks, onside kicks, all of which, there's squibs. Whatever you do, depending on the types of the game, there's a lot of different things that go into it these days. So, how do you prepare? We talked about that y'all do a lot of specializing in, and I've seen y'all out there practicing when I kind of roam through the campus every now and again. But I see you and Briard and I think Ayers and a couple of everybody else that's out there doing different stuff. And in fact, the other day I saw you doing it. I guess that's part of the fun of being a kicker is that you could go off and do your own kicker stuff.
We come up with our own games. We go to the practice field and we do punt golf, punt pass kick. Kicking's kind of like throwing a baseball. If you're a pitcher, you can't pitch every single day. So we do light days, we do heavy days like Monday, but we just have fun.
I saw you kicking one. It was almost like you were trying to kick off with a spiral and make it curve. It was kind of a weird looking deal. I still don't understand how you guys were doing it.
Was it an onside? Or was it?
It was the onside where y'all were trying to spin it.
It's like We just saw it in the NFL, so we're just trying. It's when you set it sideways on the tee and you try to get it spinning and it takes off. And
I got you. Catches an
I don't
edge
think it
right
works
there.
very well. I like the traditional onside.
The traditional one with the couple hops and get the high one. Yeah, that's always a more exciting one. But things like that, I mean, that's what you got to do because there's practices are long and you're needed.
Can't kick for 2 hours.
You can't kick for 2 hours.
It's a lot of sin on the sideline too.
But so your experience at Neville. Like you said, I mean, you've seen Neville's won a lot of football games. You've been in some pressure situations and made some big kicks, for the Tigers over the past couple of years. So, what do you tell me? What maybe goes through your mind? I mean, if you're sitting there and it's a tight game, and even on extra points, or you got a field goal or something that you got to get after, what goes through your head? To try to, I mean, some guys you see like Pat McAfee used to be a crazy person, and some people are just walk out there and it's like nothing doing. How do you? What's your process?
More like just walk out there. I try to flush it, like saying like repetitions, like do it in practice. Just don't let pressure get to me.
Yeah, and then, that's a good way to go at it. Just kind of keep things as even of a keel as you possibly can, huh? Mm-hmm. Well, so let's talk about this thing. Batterford's been holding for the last couple of years. I mean, he's
doing a great job.
He's pretty important. The old holder. You got to catch it and put it down where you want it.
The process.
Exactly. You've got a young deep snapper in Drew Gerald.
He's doing really good too.
That's I've been impressed with as well. And punting this year, you kind of get thrown in the punting deal and a little bit, and I saw where it started, and then I've seen where it went. It seemed though early on it was trying to do that little kind of a rugby style kick, and then but once you started booting it, I mean straight downfield and trying to just kick the ball. That's what the lay people like us in the stands go, kick the balls. But man, it has improved so much over this season, and I'm very impressed with that. And did you just redo your mindset on that?
Just practice, really. Like,
yeah,
I used to punt, just didn't know how to drop it, didn't know how to tilt it, and just swing as hard as I can. But it's all technique and work through air some, and just learn how to like really drop it just right and get that spiral on it.
It's definitely paid off. I mean, now a few of the guys that used to punt back when we all were playing around, I mean, they were always some of the crazy guys going down the field on special teams trying to hit somebody, make a tackle. Where do you kind of fall in on that? Are you going to stand back and be the safety?
Yeah, I'm not the crazy one to try to go lay them out, but if it comes down to it,
you will.
Yeah.
I've seen you make a few great tackles there.
Pass.
Exactly, but some and the guys that I did see doing that weren't supposed to do that. You just couldn't stop them from doing that. Some good friends of mine too. They just were, so you don't fit that crazy kicker mentality. Sometimes those kickers are like closers in baseball. It's just stay away from that guy until it's time for him to do something. But so let's maybe you're also student body vice president, which is a great honor there at Neville. That's congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Just in case, hopefully the president doesn't die. So you don't do that. But as we go through all of that stuff, with student council and things at Neville, especially in this year, what all kind of duties have you had to do?
Well, our president, Ashanti Hicks, was virtual for the first 9 weeks, so I was doing all the the pledge, not so much the morning announcements, but
I got
so that was different. I was kind of nervous at first, but I got used to it, and it was fun. But now she's taking over.
Yeah, now she's back, and that's good. So it's always interesting when you go through there the duties of the president, vice president, and at Neville High School, and it's been the same way for a long time. I mean, it's just, but it's always an honor to be, that's voted on by the students. So it's an honor to be in that position. Talking about do you have any aspirations to, do any kicking or soccer or anything like that at the college level, or are you just going to do as good as you can and try to go to college?
I mean, just do as good as I can. If opportunities come, I mean, if it fits me, I'm going to take it.
Well, that's cool. I mean, that's it. I believe you definitely should have some opportunities. I'm looking forward to watching you the rest of the football season as well as on the soccer field, this year. That soccer is something that they didn't let us play as much back in our day, but something as a game I really wish I would have gotten into. I've actually enjoyed watching you guys over the past couple of years. Yeah. And I guess Coach Sorrell is probably waiting for a couple of you football guys to get back there to him.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Definitely is.
I think there's 3 of us, I think. We all play football for seniors.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's just part of it. Soccer, the only bad thing about soccer in high school is that it's played during the worst part of the year. Mm-hmm. I still don't see how you guys can get down there in shorts and you're just soccer uniforms and it's 32 degrees and sleeting. It still blows my mind. We need a dome. That's what we need to do. We'll start a fund. Let's raise a deal so we can have a soccer dome that we can blow up, inflatable deal. I think we can make that happen. Hey, look, man, great job here tonight. Great job for the last couple of years. It's been an honor to watch you guys play, and it's just been happy to see the way you've progressed from start to finish with Neville, and hopefully let's finish out your senior year on a high note.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, well, thanks for being here. Folks, William Reed, Neville's senior kicker, joining us here. Good luck to him and the rest of the Tigers here on the rest of the season. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get Coach Jeff Tannehill back in his chair here in Tiger Talk, and we'll talk about the upcoming matchup with Bastrop this Friday night at their place. Folks, stay tuned. You're watching Tiger Talk right here on the Neville Network. Having back trouble? Well, Dr. Scott Martinez at Martinez Chiropractic may be able to help you out. Why don't you give him and his friendly staff a call, 654-4310, to set up your next chiropractic appointment. Martinez Chiropractic is located at 1828 Tower Drive in Monroe. Scott Martinez is a former Neville Tiger and supports all of Neville athletes.
Hey Neville Tiger Nation, this season if you find yourself feeling a little under the weather, visit Go Family Health on North 18th Street. They cover flu shots, sports physicals, sick visits, annual visits, or if nothing is wrong, they can do your regular checkup. Go Family Health has a happy staff, clean office, and they can take care of all your family's health care needs.
This is Tiffany Terra with Go Family Health. We love our Neville Tigers, and we want to thank all of Neville Nation for always supporting Go Family Health.
The used car giants are bringing something massive to the Twin Cities. One-click online purchasing. Visit usedcargiants.com. Choose the car you want from CarTown's huge inventory and buy it with one click. CarTown, the used car giants.
I'm Matt Dickerson, and I'm a satisfied 3B equipment rental customer. So I called Matt because we were trying to get our plots together for dove season. He brought this equipment out to us, dropped it off, unloaded it for us, and really made the whole process very easy. I know Matt does real well in the service department, and through some other rental experiences we've had with him, the tractor that he dropped off for us was in brand new condition. Everything was in good shape. It's good to know that you can count on equipment when he drops it off. I'd highly recommend Matt Bridges and 3B Outdoors for all your equipment rental needs.
This is not a dramatization or a paid testimonial. I'm Christian Creed, and let me tell you, car wrecks can wreck lives. As a former insurance adjuster and as a licensed accident investigator, I've handled hundreds of accident claims. If you or a loved one have been involved in a car accident, no matter how big or small, let me put my experience to work for you. Call Creed and Creed. We're serious attorneys for serious injuries.
Whether you're dining in or grabbing to go, at Nukes, we love to share great food, to delight with new flavors, to celebrate every bite. Join us at Nukes Eatery.
We have inventory at Sparks Nissan Kia in Monroe, including huge lineups of popular new Nissan and Kia models, plus more pre-owned options from the best trade-ins. This means we can offer you more choices and competitive pricing. So let's make a deal. Shop the largest selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs, more than any other dealer in Northeast Louisiana, and put a spark in your drive today. Shop in person or online now at drivesparks.com.
Find the cutest party supplies and the best balloon arrangements at the Paper Market in Monroe. Locally owned and operated, the Paper Market has been serving the community for 10 years. Visit in-store and online at papermarketmonroe.com and celebrate everything.
From custom repairs to complete auto seat recovering, Jeffco has the material your seats want to wear. On repairs, the material is measured with detailed precision, carefully cut to shape. Then, every stitch is placed to ensure durability. The Catskin leather coverings are form-fitted to make sure your seat sits just right. Every task is done with detail because we care about your comfort.
Thank you for letting us serve you for over 43 years. Jeffco, the only dealer in the Arklamis of Catskins automotive leather.
All right, everybody, welcome into the final segment here on Tiger Talk. We welcome back Neville head football coach Jeff Tannehill. And, Coach, it's Bastrop week, you know. It's normally the week of the blackout pep rally. We can't have pep rallies really much anymore. We squeezed in the homecoming one, and that's about as far as we could do. But
we're hoping to squeeze playoff pep rally, maybe outside. You know, we're working on that.
We're working on that.
We're working that.
But more importantly, the Bastrop Rams. And, you know, Bastrop last year was a tight one. 19-14 was the final in that one. And it was kind of a surprising tight game. But anytime you play Bastrop, it's going to be a tight game for the most part. At least that's the way it's been the past 15 years.
Or more.
Or more, yeah.
You know, Coach Bradshaw came up there, you know, late 1990s, built the program up. It was pretty much down, built it up. And from about 2001 till now, it's been on every time we play. It's basically their Super Bowl. And, you know, we need a good game like that late in the year. We really do. They're a physical football team, lots of athletes all over the field. They spread you from sideline to sideline. And the deal this year is what we're trying to stress so much, you know, to our kids is we have to go up there and play in Morehouse Parish. And it's a different animal. They call it the cage up there. And you know, they're going to play a lot harder up there. They're going to play a lot faster up there. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be definitely where they're supposed to be, especially, you know, early in the football game when the momentum is really shifting in their direction. So, you know, we got our hands full going up there, and we're looking, you know, to take on these Rams. And
generally, when you talk about Bastrop this year, and almost any year, big up front, both sides of the football, very athletic on the edge, great linebackers, a lot of speed in the back end on their defense, and a lot of speed, just team speed offensively. They try to spread you out as wide as they can, and there you go. Maybe fortunately for you, I mean, how are you going to defend it this year? I mean, you've got a great defensive backfield. I think the matchup is in your favor, especially defensively.
Well, you know, usually that matchup has not been in our favor. They've usually had some guys, and they still have guys. You know, they've got their tailback, a little short, sawed-off kid. It's quick as grease, lightning. You know, their best wide receivers looks a lot like the tailback, number 6, and he is a go-daddy. He can run like the wind, and he's got great moves in space, and they try to get it to him a lot in space. And their quarterback's about 6'4", you know, 200 pounds, and throws it pretty well. And so, you know, luckily this year we have a really good secondary, but they will be tested. I think that some of our advantage, you know, this week is going to be our speed on defense. You know, especially on the D line. I think we can do a lot of stunts and blitzes and that kind of thing to get to that quarterback. And, you know, we tackle a lot better in space this year than we have in the past. So I think defensively we're going to be pretty sound. At least I hope so.
Yeah.
So, and offensively, their defensive front is as big as we've seen all year. They're bigger than Minden. Number 9, I think he's 6'7", 330 pounds, and
big boy.
I think he's just a sophomore too. So we'll see him for a while. But defensively, number 6 plays corner, so he's a good corner, and then they have a bunch of other guys that they mix and match, depending on what kind of coverage they're playing, and but again, like you said earlier, their linebackers always tackle good, and they're right in the middle of it. They've got a nose for the football, and so we're going to be tested in every phase. I think with Will Reed and some of the and Eris Burkhalter, I think kicking game goes in our advantage, but. That's a small part of the game, but it turns into a big part sometimes. So as long as any advantage we can get against these guys, we're going to take it for sure.
Well, like we said, I mean, you can sometimes it's become obviously your biggest district rival for the better part of the last 20 years. I mean, it was kind of started off maybe favoring Bastrop there through the a lot of people refer to as the old Katrina years, where they had as good of a football team
as anybody
in the state. I mean, they were just packed in with that. And then there's been some just mammoth games back and forth and right down to the wire. And a lot of those were in Bastrop. I mean, I remember some doozies on that field down there.
I was a part of a lot of them.
Yeah.
There was a couple of years where, especially in 2010 when we were not as well-oiled machine early in the year, and we really got a lot better, and we ended up really and truly upsetting Bastrop that year. I think John Diars was a sophomore, and we had struggled early in the season, and when we went down there and beat Bastrop at their place, that turned our entire season around. So this year, if they were to get us at their place, and that would probably turn theirs around.
Exactly.
Which they're not having a bad year. They had a mishap the other night at Minden. I think they probably took Minden a little bit light, and they had to go to Minden, which is a big road trip from Bastrop. And so Minden played really well. I rode over and watched the game, and, Minden size helped them some. And then they had a couple outstanding performances the other night by their free safety, and that really put them over the top. They ended up winning in overtime, and I think Bastrop was stunned.
Yeah.
But don't worry, they're not going to be disappointed this week. They're going to be coming out a little bit upset at
exactly.
us.
It'd almost been better if they'd have won that one last week
right.
For that.
I don't mind them winning in overtime, but didn't want them to lose it. But that's just how high school football is.
Yeah.
You got to redeem what you did the week before, and what we're trying to do is continue getting better from what we did the last time we played. So those are important things, and being really good when the playoffs start is the most important thing. And so be as good as you can get, as fast as you can get there, and then try to keep it.
Well, you've had the week off from last week to prepare. Hopefully, no rust out there. You talked about the practice, the way it started, a little rusty, and then built up to today's practice that was much better, much more enthusiastic and everything.
One of the best ones of the year this year. And zero complaints. We had some intensity. We started with a little one-on-ones and ended with a little one-on-ones, and it really intensity level, increased tremendously, and as we get closer to game time, it'll continue to increase. And so hopefully, we'll be running on hot as soon as the game starts. We need to get a good start on them, and got to get ahead early. And that's one of the most important things about a team like Bastrop. You got to get them down, and then when you get them down, you got to keep them down. And so hopefully we can get that done Friday night.
Yeah, that's a lot of just like every stadium generally around here, that Bastrop Stadium, when you get down in there, it's almost kind of down in a bowl. But with the COVID restrictions, it's not going to be as many people there, but it's going to be pretty intense as the Bastrop faithful.
And they always tend to sit on our side too, so
that's
something we can always look forward to as Bastrop fans on our side.
Well, and we got the old home side. They've switched everything up. Bastrop's improved their facilities. We've talked about that over the past couple of years, and it's going to be an interesting game as it always is. And obviously, it's going to be a a good one. You can watch it right here on the Neville Tiger Network. Pregame starts at 6:30. Kickoffs at 7. You can also catch it on the radio with Neil and Mickey Trowick and Frank there on 101.9 FM. Pregame starts at 6:45. So
before we get off here, though, I know you don't want to do this, but I do. I think it's a special honor, and we do this every year at Neville, where we elect the alumni of the year and the friend of the year. And Stewart, I just want to congratulate you. You're one of those alumnus of the year, and it's so much of work that you and your family do for our school.
Yeah.
And Neville Tiger Network, I mean, y'all go above and beyond the call of duty. And also joining you is Bill Ledoux and Jessica and Carrick Nabnett.
Yeah,
and a friend of the year, man, he's a super guy, and he's a great teacher, and he is Mr. Do-It-All at Neville High School is Karari Hanks. I mean, he helps us on the Neville Tiger Network.
Yes, he does. He'll be on the camera on Friday night.
And he's a super person and loves Neville High School. So congratulations to all those people. And
definitely.
We will get this. We were headed to do this on Huntington
at
halftime. As of right now, getting the game scheduled is a question mark right now, and hopefully maybe by Thursday we'll have a game scheduled for next week.
Well, thanks for doing that. I am humbled and honored, very surprised when I got that phone call. I know it's based on that list. There's a lot of people probably more deserving than us, but I'm honored by that distinction, and looking forward to everything else. But anyway, thanks to everybody that was involved. All right, yeah. All right, well, Coach Tannehill, as always, thanks for your time, for Coach Gregory and William Reed, who joined us here tonight. Thanks to everybody that comes out with us and watches the Tiger Talk on Wednesday nights, and Melvyn and Dan McCoy for being gracious hosts every Wednesday. And the staff here at Melvin's just really makes us feel all at home.
Annie and her crew does a great job.
They do. And Will Enders, they're producing, and our top-tier cameramen back there, Brett Braddock and Jason Ewing over there. So
glad to have Brett
thanks
back
to everybody that helps us bring these types of productions to you each and every week. Looking forward to doing this all year long. But stay tuned. Friday night, 6:30, pregame start, 7 o'clock kickoff, Neville versus Bastrop right here on the Neville Network. We'll see you then. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Hey Neville Tiger Nation, this season if you find yourself feeling a little under the weather, visit Go Family Health on North 18th Street. They cover flu shots, sports physicals, sick visits, annual visits, or if nothing is wrong, they can do your regular checkup. Go Family Health has a happy staff, clean office, and they can take care of all your family's health care needs.
This is Tiffany Terra with Go Family Health. We love our Neville Tigers, and we want to thank all of Neville Nation for always supporting Go Family Health.
Having back trouble? Well, Dr. Scott Martinez at Martinez Chiropractic may be able to help you out. Why don't you give him and his friendly staff a call, 654-4310, to set up your next chiropractic appointment. Martinez Chiropractic is located at 1828 Tower Drive in Monroe. Scott Martinez is a former Neville Tiger and supports all of Neville athletes.
The used car giants are back, and they're crushing the competition, crushing high prices, and crushing bad credit. And they're bringing something even bigger. One-click online purchasing. Visit usedcargiants.com. Choose the car you want from CarTown's huge inventory and buy it with one click.